Welcome to the design guide for both the HTML pencil push as well as HTML pencil push with video ad units. They both use the identical template and settings and both have the option to include or not include video, so they're going to be the same settings for both ads. We'll start out by doing a quick preview of the ad, and you'll see the pencil push is designed to have a collapsed container that can be set to any height and width you like, as well as an expanded container that can be set to any height and width you like. You can include any image, JPEG, PNG, GIF, or SWF file in both of these containers, with the note that if you do upload an SWF file, it will no longer be compatible with iPads, iPhones, or any other non-Flash supported browser. So oftentimes for these HTML templates, you want to stick to to images and video. So starting out here, you'll notice in this builder, there is no longer a text field. We start with media. All of the text that you include in these ads are going to be built into the images that you upload. So from an image standpoint, we have a collapsed graphic. You'll notice it's any size you like and in pixels, and it can be a JPEG, PNG, GIF, or SWF file. And then you have your field for an expanded graphic, again, JPEG, PNG, or GIF, and it can be any size you like. And if you wanted to swap either of those out, you just click on Change, open up your gallery by clicking here, and you'd select any of the image you like, hit select if you wanted to swap it out, and that'll give you a new image inside the ad builder here. Moving down, you'll notice in this new version, we allow you to upload your own custom open button as well as your own custom close button graphics. Again, these can be any size you want, and you're going to dictate down in step 4 settings what size you would like to use, and then you'll upload a corresponding open button and close button, and you can position those anywhere you like on the ad as well. And then finally, the last media component is video. It's optional. You don't have to include it, but if you do, you'll just go ahead and upload the video as an MP4 file and select it here. So moving down to step 2 is for colors. Just 2 different colors to play with. Background color, if you happen to build in transparencies and things into your imagery, this is the background color that'll show up. If you have images that take up the entire container, the background color is going to be irrelevant. And then a custom hit area test mode color. This is for when we add in multiple click-through hit areas. This allows us to have a testing color that'll show up on the screen. You can enter a specific hex value for any color or click on and select from a color palette here. Step 3 is for your click-through URLs. You'll notice this particular ad allows you to have up to 4 custom click-through areas on the ad itself. Custom click-through 1 is going to be typically your main click-through, so if you only have one click-through, that's great. You'll set that up here. But if you want to have other hit areas for special offers or Facebook links, etc., you can build those and add them in here, and we'll show you in just a moment how to do that. Step 4 is your custom settings as you're used to. A lot of these are going to be familiar to you if you've built the Flash version of this ad. We've just reordered them to make them a little bit more usable. So we start out at the top with your collapsed width and height. So your collapsed container in this instance is going to be 950 by 42 pixels, and you'll go ahead and upload an image of that size. Moving down, you have your expanded container width and expanded height. Again, in pixels, this particular ad we've set to 950 by 415. Next, auto expand on initial render, yes or no. This means if you set this to yes, the ad's automatically going to open when a user first hits the window and the page this ad's on. The next option allows you to limit the number of times this ad auto expands to once every X hours per visitor. So if we've set this to yes, and then set this setting to 6 hours, what's going to happen is the user first hits the page, the ad's automatically going to open. If they revisit that same page anytime again within the next 6 hours, the ad's going to start out collapsed, and the user would have to manually click on it to open the ad. After the 6 hours expires and they come back to the page, the ad would auto expand a second time, drop a fresh cookie, and wait 6 hours from that point. So moving down, would you like a delay on that auto expand in seconds? Either no, or put in the number of seconds you like here. So if you wanted to wait 10 seconds and then at expand, you could do that. Next one, auto collapse after it auto expands, yes or no. If you have put no in here, it's not going to auto collapse. or you can enter in a number of seconds, it'll wait that amount of time and then automatically collapse. Next up, auto expand on mouse over, or vice versa. Would you like the ad to auto collapse when you mouse off of it? You can set these to yes or no. Next up, we have expand speed and collapse speed. You enter those here. And then when it comes to your open and close buttons, here's settings for manipulating that. If you sort of want to be lazy as a designer, we have an option to use a default location, which is in essence the upper right-hand corner of both containers. So if we just want to use the default location, we set this to yes, and you'll notice both the open and close buttons stay in the exact same spot in the upper right-hand corner of the ad. But if we want to turn this default location off, you'll notice the next two settings say, what height and width would you like the ad to be? Now you're going to set this regardless of whether you've used the default. So in this instance, the open and close buttons are 100 by 30 pixels. You could change that. You can make your open and close buttons 100 by 100 or 50 by 70, whatever you want. And basically whatever you set this height and width to, you're going to come back here to step 1 media and upload an open and close button that corresponds to the height and width that you've created down here. And then the next option, again, if we've turned our default location off, it'll simply say, okay, for the open button, give me a horizontal offset, how many pixels to the right, and a vertical offset, how many pixels down from the top you'd like that open button to be. And then same thing with your close button, how many pixels to the right and how many pixels down. So you'll notice when we turn that setting off, we've made our default open button in the upper right hand corner by actually dictating the number of pixels in this case. And then when we close it, we've actually moved this down to the bottom right hand corner of our container. So your open and close buttons are completely configurable as to where the location is. Next up, we have include video player, yes or no. Right now it's set to no. If we wanted to add a video in here, we just type in yes and then go ahead and upload our video in step 1 media. You can dictate the height and width of that video player, so how many pixels wide, how many pixels tall, and then also the vertical and horizontal offset. So you could make the video anywhere from a tiny little video in the bottom corner to a video player that takes up the entire screen, and again, your offset is going to be dictated height and width here. Couple video settings. Would you like the video to auto start on initial render, yes or no? Would you like the audio to auto start on initial render, yes or no? And then finally, we have our custom click-through hit areas. As I mentioned before, you're almost in every case always going to want to have at least one click-through in your ad, so you're always going to have custom hit area 1 turned on. And best practices are going to be you're going to make that height and width for that custom hit area the exact height and width of your expanded container. So we've set that to 950 by 415 in this case. And because it's the exact height and width, you'll notice the custom hit area horizontal offset and vertical offset are set to 0, 0. That way there is no offset and it overlays perfectly. Next up, would you like custom hit area 2 activated? If you only have one click through, you just set this to no. But if you want to have, in this instance, we have a Facebook link we wanted to link to, so we set this to yes. We made the custom hit area 2 40 pixels by 40 pixels, and we made the offset 368 by 432. That's the left and down, the right and down pixel positioning for this particular custom hit area. And you can do the same thing. Turn on custom hit area 3, height, width, and location. Custom hit area 4, height, width, and location. And then the final two settings here you'll notice are for activating test mode. So we're going to turn on test mode for this ad so that when we preview it, you're going to see exactly where those hit areas are overlaying, and we're using that red color. So you'll see we have hit area 1, that's the whole ad. Hit area 2 we put right on top of the Facebook link, and hit area 3 right on top of the Twitter link. So if we click, for instance, here on hit area 2, it's going to take us over to Facebook. The final setting here is activate iOS testing mode. This is not something you're normally going to use, but if you wanted to force the ad to show up like it's going to show up on an iPad or an iPhone, you could do that. But more often than not, you're going to leave this to no, and the best way to test it on those devices is simply to create the ad, send yourself the link, and open it up from either an iPhone or iPad or any other device. So that's our media guide here for the ad, please call us at 866-467-2289 with questions.